Yeah, the keeper. It's like, are you doing the countdown?
Nope. No. We're in, guys.
We're in. Okay, that's great, man. There is no time.
What is going on, guys?
It's a mess. That's what's going on. It's a big mess. It's like, but whatever. How's it going, everyone? Let's wait for the people to come in and see what's going on. How are you, John? How was your week?
It'd have been better if we'd have won, but yeah, it's been okay. It's been
Are
okay.
you? I'm still not really cooled down. I mean, I'm still like a bit upset about that game because basically our Champions League qualification is there. It's those 4 games.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
missed the first chance.
I think we'll still get. I'm pretty confident of top 4 unless something drastically goes wrong. Pretty confident of it. To be fair,
I'm confident, but not like if we won against Sampdoria, I'm like, yeah, we need another 3 wins, and I'm fine. Now I feel like we're going in that territory when you need to see what the other teams are doing. Before we were like, okay, we got our 4 or 5 wins, and we go in Champions League. Now I feel like, okay, now we're going in that direction that, yeah, we're winning, and we have to look at the people what they do, and I don't like that. I was like, we were in a position we didn't need to do that. Now we are looking what's going on.
I think we've still got 3 on paper straightforward games coming up, while everyone around us seems to be playing each other. So I think that's a positive. And then we've started getting players back, which obviously helps.
Yeah, that's important. But anyway, have you seen what was the problem? What do you think was the problem? Apart from, Theo Hernandez, in my opinion, I've been saying since the game against Udinese that he needs to stay in the bench few games to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Not that is not a strong part of the team, but that is not performing properly. And when I say he's not performing properly, I'm saying that the way he's playing is wrong. Not he's putting a lot of effort. He's running. He's fighting. It's just the approach on the game is wrong. That's my opinion.
I think there's a few factors involved. On when we played at the weekend, I thought none of the players looked like they wanted to be there. They just all looked like they had an international hangover, kind of. No one seemed interested. No one seemed bothered. They just thought. I think it was one of them where they kind of turned up and thought they were just going to get 3 points and be able to have a week rest. Whereas when you come into this part, any game in Serie A stuff, but when you're coming into the last 10 games of the season, that's where it gets a bit trickier, and you've got to put your all in. And there are a few players, and it's the same players popping up. It's Teo doing the wrong things. Hakan didn't look bothered, and he had a superb international break, like superb. And then he comes back to Milan and he plays like a 2-year-old that's just learned how to kick a football for the first time. It's just strange. And for me, I'd personally start benching players like that. The ones that have got a bit comfortable and don't think there's competition for the place. Because when we played Verona and we won 2-0 and it was a bit of a makeshift team, it was a team of players that wanted to play for the shirt and cared about the shirt and proved that they wanted to be there. So if it were up to me, just play the players that want to be here. Players like Hakan, Donnarumma to an extent, until they sign a contract, don't play him. Bring the stock down. Don't play him. Look, I'm not. We'd struggle without Donnarumma. I know it's a silly thing to do, like obviously to do, but it might just make you think, look, you're not untouchable, and there's life without you, sort of thing.
I feel like going back to Çalhanoğlu, I'm like, you won 6 million from AC Milan, so you're giving everything on the national team, and you're not giving everything for AC Milan. If you want that 6 million a year, you should be like fake an injury, whatever you want to do. Just get a red card. I don't care, or don't run like an idiot for Turkey, because Turkey is not paying you, man. It's AC Milan is paying you.
Yeah.
And that's a sad thing to say, to be fair. But it's such a difficult moment of the season. And I know he's not a top player, so he cannot afford to play well in both the two competitions. I like Tonali. He got a red card and he came back and Milanello straight away. I would have played him because he was rested. And as I say a month ago, even if Benacer is fit, I still go for the first choice Tonali because he's been playing all the season and he's kind of on that tempo. He knows what does it mean to fight and go for the 3 points. Benacer is a better player than Tonali, but he's been 2 months without playing, and I don't think he has that grinta to go and win the 3 points. So I'll put him as a second choice. But yeah, and people are complaining about Krunic and Castillejo. I've been saying all season they need to leave in the summer, but we know they're not good enough, so we cannot complain about them. It's not their fault. That's the way they play. That's
exactly. Like
they need to go, and that's it.
We know where our struggles are in the team and what areas need improvement, and obviously right wing is one of them. But Castillo, we've just got to accept the fact for the next 9 games he's going to be a player, and we know what his limitations are and what he's going to be able to give, and we've just got to accept it. And as frustrating as it might be, apart from Salamaker, is our only other right wing option, so he's going to get game time, and there's no point playing Diaz out of position, Haug out of position, because Castillo knows that role. So you may as well just play him just for the last 9 games as a rotation option, and then he's done.
For me, the only mistake Pioli did as a manager that game was, and as I say, was the fact that he's playing Salamaker as a right back, and Salamaker is not a right back at the moment. In his mind, he doesn't have the mindset to play as a right back. So if you have 10 injuries, I understand him as a right back. But if you have almost 80% of the squad, just play Kalulu on that position. And I don't like that Pioli is not flexible to actually say, you know what, today I'm going to play 4-3-3. I'm going to put the best players, not my formation. So my best players are Benacer, Tonali, and Kessie in the midfield, Çalhanoğlu, Rebic, and Ibrahimovic. So I'll play my best player. I don't play 4-2-3-1. I'll play 4-3-3, and I have my best player in the pitch, and I win 1-0.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I get that. I think with the right back situation, obviously, Dalot played 3 full games for Portugal under 21s in the space of 9 days or something like that. So obviously, that's going to. It was going to be knackered when he came back. So I understand not playing him with Kalulu. The only thing I can think of is him and Salamaker's both came back off international break. Pioli assessed which one was fitter, and he had to go with the fittest player out of the 2. So as much as I'd like to sit there and say, oh, he should have done this, in hindsight, he probably should have. But at the time, he's got to go with maybe who's fittest for the last few games of the season. Well, not with who's fittest, but who he thinks can give more. And if we'd have won, I don't think we'd have talked about that as much. And because the goal didn't come from his side, he didn't have a bad game at right back. But yeah, it's a strange one with that.
There is an interesting question Roy is putting here, is like about Pioli, if he should be sacked if we don't make a top 4.
Yeah, let's look at this question.
Yeah, people are saying Pioli out and stuff like that. I have a clear opinion about Pioli, but I want to hear first you and Roy, and after I'll say mine, because
okay, I'll go first.
Yeah,
if Pioli doesn't make it in the top 4, he should be exiled from Italy. He should never come back. He should never step a foot in the city of Milan. That is my opinion about the top 4.
Well,
John,
that's it. That was clear.
Mine's different, to be fair. Obviously, I don't even think it's a question, because I personally feel like we're going to make top 4. I just don't see us. I think everyone around us is too inconsistent to overtake us, and I still think the top 4 will be Inter, us, Juve, and Atalanta. I just think the other teams are a bit hit and miss. One week they're good, the next week they're not. But with Pioli, I wouldn't see the benefit of sacking him, because obviously he's done absolute wonders this season. With the squad that is available, when you look at the injuries that we've had and everything else on top of it, and we've been an unusual season with COVID, to sack him after what he's done, and for the first time in 8 years we've been allowed to dream a little bit of getting top 4, then I think he should be allowed to carry on his project with the correct upgrades and with more players added to make it his own squad as opposed to one that he's inherited. It'd be more of a backward step sacking him than it would be a forward step. Personally, I feel.
So I totally agree with you, and I think Pioli is gonna make a top 4. That's my opinion. But if he doesn't make it, you have to consider that Donnarumma is not gonna renew with AC Milan, so we don't have Donnarumma if we don't go top 4. Çalhanoğlu is not going to renew with AC Milan. Probably some loan are not coming back. So you're gonna have a squad even less stronger than this year. So no decent manager is coming to be the coach of AC Milan with a weaker squad than that one. I don't think you can afford a decent manager in terms of a prestige, like saying, "Oh, do you want to come and coach AC Milan?" No decent manager is coming. So I think Pioli is the only choice we have, even if we don't go top 4, because he's a type of manager and he can actually manage these players we have. He's not a top manager. If you give this squad to a top manager, he's gonna just not make it, because a top manager needs big player. They want to manage big player.
Yeah,
and they're not coming anyway.
I don't think there's a manager out there right now available that with this squad would do a better job than Pioli. Now people will say, "Oh, but Allegri's available." If you gave this squad to Allegri, he'd finish outside the top 4.
Yeah,
and that's no disrespect to Allegri, but the players are of a high caliber. Yeah, they're not of a Allegri standard, Conte standard, even a Spalletti standard to a certain point. I don't even think they're at that caliber. I think it's a perfect squad for Pioli, and because they're so young, I think the squad and the manager are going on like a development journey together, and they're both, even next season if we don't make top 4, which I think we will, and the recruitment I think will still be there, I think they'll go on the journey will just continue growing and growing next season. Pioli will learn more about the squad. The squad will be another year experience in Serie A, another year older, and it'd be a complete backward step to.
I hope one thing next season, if we don't go top 4, I hope just one thing for the next season. That AC Milan understand how useless is the Europa League.
Wait, look. I want
doesn't need to understand people, because I heard some people, they wanted us to win the Europa League in February and go top 4 as well. Something that with this squad we have is basically impossible.
I think.
Sorry, guys. Let me tell you why I think the way I think. Okay, so because this is a technical project and there's a goal, and this goal is related to business. It's related to a certain growth. And the objective is the 4th place. If you fail to make the 4th place, this is not a step back. This is 10 step backs, because then the project has to restart all over again. Right now, AC Milan is, for what they're paying their players, AC Milan has to finish in the top 4, because nobody else, Atalanta doesn't have a player they're paying 7 million. Roma doesn't have a player or 2 or 3 players they're playing those kind of prices. Napoli doesn't have those players. All these teams don't have those players. Milan, for what they're paying their players, they have to end in the top 4. If Pioli doesn't end in the top 4, he should get out. We don't want him. Next guy in, and he has to make the objective come to reality.
I can see where you're coming from with that side of it, but then if we take it back to before the first game of the season this year, and someone said to you, what do you think the chances are Milan finishing top 4? You'd have said 50-50, because you'd put the top 4 from the start of the season into Juve, Napoli probably with the squad that they've got, and Inter. Personally, that's what I'd have said. And then
in the beginning of this season,
Milan, right before we played the game, and not based off last year's performance, because that doesn't really count for this season. Just before this season started, when someone showed you a picture of each squad, I'd have put Milan to finish 5th.
I would have put him,
or to edge top 4.
I would have put him 3rd.
No. Atalanta has a better squad. If you consider the attacking part of Atalanta,
guys, no, these players, Atalanta, Roma, Napoli, they wish they had a team like Milan. They don't have.
Do you think Atalanta doesn't have a better player than Castillejo?
Ibrahimovic is worth half of Atalanta.
Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. Muriel and Zapata together, they had more goals than Ibrahimovic. And they play more than Ibrahimovic. I know Ibrahimovic is a bigger name and he's stronger than them.
Look at the impact Ibra had. Zapata and Muriel will never have an impact on a team the way Ibra.
But they're getting results, man.
You've also got to take into consideration, like Juventus have got a multi-million pound squad. Inter have got a multi-million pound squad. Atalanta are in like their 3rd year of building their squad and consistently finishing Champions League. Napoli are in their 2nd, 3rd year of having such a good squad, even 4th, 5th. Roma, the same. Lazio last year finished inside the top 4. All these teams had these squads, and Milan were coming off a year where they hadn't been in Europe because they were allowed in it, and then not really spending loads in the summer. So if someone had said to you at the start of the year, where would this team finish? I can see why you say 3rd, but realistically looking at the squads, I'd say 4th, 5th, maybe 4th. But then if someone said to me, but the squad will have to go through 4 injuries a week and be missing 4 key players every match day, we finish top 4, then we'd be being like, we'll be happy with Europa League. So to still be sat in 2nd with all the injuries that we've had, if we drop out, it'll be a calamity. Of course it would. But then if you actually go back and look at the season and all the injuries we've had, the COVID cases we've had, and look at everything else, then you think, do you know what? This squad hasn't done bad. Pioli did a really good job. So imagine what he'll do next year with a stronger squad and a fit squad.
No, I get that. I'm pretty positive that this team is the 3rd best team in Italy as far as. But wait, before we go forward, the objective was the Champions League. Last year, Milan didn't make the Champions League for 1 point. It wasn't like 1,000,000 points; it was 1 point. So
it wasn't 1 point.
Yeah, it was.
That was the year before.
No, that the year before with Gattuso, and we changed the manager.
My bad. But the way I see football is like this: you have an objective. If you don't meet that objective, then you're not the guy. That's the way I see it.
Well, you should fire Gazidis as well, because he has an objective to bring this team to the 4th place, and he's been 3 years not doing that. And he sacked Boban, and he was getting Ragnick.
That is great.
What about sacking him?
Yeah, I would love to sack Gazidis. I think Gazidis is not that great.
But then
that's the problem.
If you want proof in the pudding as to why you shouldn't sack Pioli, you look back 2 years ago when we finished 10 minutes away from being in the Champions League on the last day of the season. And we had a squad under Gattuso, which I thought was a good squad, and I thought Gattuso was a good manager. And then we sacked him for an experiment in Gianpaolo. So
how stupid was that?
Then, it was stupid.
Well, we're doing the same mistake with Pioli.
So that's why if Pioli just misses out on the Champions League with everything he's faced this year, the injuries, the COVID, everything like that, it would be a step back, because then we could just employ another manager and we'd be that impatient that would give that manager 10 games and be saying, we shouldn't have sacked Pioli. It's a backward step. So I think Milan's biggest issue over the last 8-9 years, ever since Allegri left, is we're quick to hire a manager and fire one, but we're not good enough at we're not good at giving them longevity and letting them build a squad. We're too quick to fire them. And I know Milan's got such high expectations, but in this day and age, you've got to be realistic. And if you don't invest money, you're not going to make the top 4. And
right,
So I wouldn't see the benefit personally of sacking him.
Oh no, yeah, but no, that's fine. Everybody have their own opinions. If he doesn't make the 4th place, I think he should be exiled from Europe. And they should put him in an island somewhere, and he should stay in that island for the rest of his life.
No, man. His second half, he had to play with Krunic and Castillejo, man. That's the team he had. He never had Benacer during the season, and he never had the chance to do a pre-season to train this player to actually give them some instruction, his tactical ideas. He's never really managing this team a proper way because never had a chance.
He's been playing like out up front on the left wing, the right wing, attacking midfield because we didn't have a striker. Kalulu's had to play centre back, like get thrown in at centre back at one point when he hadn't even had a minute of professional football before. Then there's a COVID. Everything that you put on top, he's been thrown and thrown and thrown. And after 30 games, we still haven't dropped out of the top two. He's doing a magnificent job, and it just makes you wonder if we weren't hit with them injuries. I think we'd have already, well, not already won the Scudetto, but we'd be clear.
Yeah,
we'd be on course to win it. So, but I get what you mean. Like with the drop, if he falls off, it'll seem like a monumental catastrophe. But then if you at the end of the season when everything's cooled down, if you sit back and you look in, you think, oh, all these injuries that have happened, then you might be like, do you know what? Oh, well, personally, I think it'd be, Pioli did do a good job with it when considering everything he's faced. It's not like Juventus or Inter, if they were to fall out of the top four, when they haven't really had the hard look that we've had, and we haven't spent the money that they have.
Anyway, yes, man, I could not live another season, without the Champions League.
Yeah.
But so I guess this is what we think. This is our opinions. What are your guys' opinions in the chat? Should Pioli be in? Should be out? I did see something that I think Isborn brought up something very interesting. People saying it's a step back. It depends on how good the manager is. Look at Tuchel with Chelsea. He doesn't even need a week to work the team.
Man, come on. Chelsea spent 300 million. Why people still compare AC Milan with clubs that spend 300 million as a budget? I'm crazy with this. I'm going crazy with it. Or people comparing, look at Chelsea and Real Madrid. They sack a manager every 2 years and they win more than everyone. They win because they spend $1 billion in 6 years, not because they sack the manager. It's like me. I don't know. I'll go crazy for this comment, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yes, it's bored.
Because you've got.
I'm sorry, man.
You've got to look at, say, for example, the Chelsea squad. Why weren't they playing good under Lampard, but suddenly in a couple of days under Tuchel, they click the fingers and suddenly they're playing good? And it reminds me of when Manchester United signed Ole halfway through the season, and he went on this miraculous unbeaten run. Boom, they gave him a contract, and then the shit started going like that. For the first couple of months, when you sign a new manager, it's perfect, it's great, but then the teething problems start to creep in, and when you already think your season's over, like with Chelsea, they weren't really expecting anything seems good, but give it pre-season and then assess where Tuchel's at. You can't assess someone that's come in halfway through the season, really.
You did bring up a good point. A lot of times when you have these change of managers in mid-season, it gives a spark to the players, and the players just become more focused, and then if that could fade out. It's true for sure.
And another thing is Tuchel is a great manager. We're not getting Tuchel if we sack Pioli. We're not getting any great manager. That's the thing.
This is my opinion on Pioli. I think Pioli has done an excellent job. I honestly give him A marks, like full marks for how he has molded this team and how he coaches the team. I think he's not. There's some things that I think some other coaches have something a little bit more than him when it comes to decision making. But I'm really happy with Pioli, and I know someone here said that they don't want to see Pioli in the Champions League. I think Pioli with this team would do well in the Champions League, to be honest with you. In my opinion, Milan is not going to get the 5th place. Milan is going to finish in the top 4, and we're going to go to the Champions League.
I was watching the Paris Saint-Germain Bayern Munich game on Wednesday, and I was just watching all the caliber of players on there, and I thought, wow, we're so far off that standard. We laugh at Inter for going out in the group stage, but if you look at the group that Inter had, I don't think we'd have got out of that group. When you look at the standard of football that's on in the Champions League and our players, we have quite a bit off that, and we do need a couple of years in the Champions League to make the kind of investments that I think will even get us out of the group stage, unless we get a favourable group.
I like Alessandro's comment, by the way, the one you put there. Is it interesting?
Yeah, just to latch on to what Jan said. I mean, Bayern and PSG are so far ahead. We can't even see them for sure. Like, we're talking about maybe the two best teams in the world.
Of course. But I just mean that standard of football, the standard of football that's been on show this week in the Champions League and in the last round. I just think we are a way off that. And obviously, I think Pioli's a good manager, but I do think after a couple of years, he's run out of magic. And then once we've got that big squad, then that's where you hire your Allegri, Pochettino, Guardiola. That's when you'll be able to attract him. No big manager is going to come in with this squad and think, the work I could do with Castillo at the right wing is going to be amazing. Like, no manager is going to be able to do it.
You know what? You bring actually a really good point that reminds me of something. In Milan, the Milan of 2000, the Milan of the year 2000 was the year right after they had won that Scudetto. And that Milan kind of reminds me of this Milan, because you could tell that was the beginning of something. And it took a while. It took 2 years, 3 years, and then they won the Champions League, and then they become the best team in Europe. So that process definitely needs to happen. And I see Milan in the beginning of that process, like in the year 2000.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I remember that AC Milan. I don't remember how close was to this one. Yeah,
it was Shevchenko's first year. Yeah, it was his first.
I remember Shevchenko. I remember we had Leonardo was playing at that time. Of course, Maldini. And
I just started wearing big boy pants, so I don't remember it too much. Obviously, I remember the players, but I can't remember the games from that. But
yeah, in that period, Milan was shit in Europe. Okay, Milan was getting crapped on Europe, and even in the Serie A, to be honest with you, they were getting pretty much crapped on. There was this period that Milan was doing really shit, but they won the Scudetto, which was, some people say, very lucky. But then you could see in 2000 a cycle was starting to emerge, and this is what we're seeing now.
Going back, a lot of people are saying, I'm looking at some comment. Just
click on the comments. Go ahead, do
it. For example, this one. Let me see if I can. So basically, just to explain a bit, these players, they are playing, and they're, even if we don't see the goals and the effectiveness, but they are actually a threat for the opposition, and they're an option. Yeah. And if you see the 22 players of Chelsea, Kante, they bought him a lot of money, and he's still a top player. Jorginho is still a good player. He's not Mate. And I'll tell you, Chilwell, they bought it for a lot of money. The three central back, Thiago Silva, they are top player. They have two goalkeepers. It's 100 million. We cannot keep our goalkeeper. They have 100 million, two goalkeepers, with the salary of 8 million each, even more probably. What are we talking about, man? Even the youngest are the really good player. Mason Mount is an English national team. I don't know. That's something.
The comments like that, obviously I respect any kind of comment, but they drive me a bit crazy because they're still playing for Tuchel, and obviously they are part of the reason why they're winning. Otherwise, you're saying that Tuchel would play with 8 men and still win. No, they're in that team and they're winning. If you just base it solely off stats, if you go back to someone like Ronaldinho, he was fantastic footballer, but he wasn't high up in stats necessarily. He wasn't goals and assists. It was a joy to watch. He was doing stuff for the team, making runs, finding passes that helped the team. Rui Costa, again, at Milan, everyone talks about how fantastic he was. But if you look at his goals and assists, they were nothing compared to Çalhanoğlu, who's got the goals and assists, and I'd rather have Rui Costa on the team. It's not all about the stats. It's about the different aspects of the way that they play and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I mean, look at Gattuso, the work he used to do in that department. That part of football is not spoken about enough. The importance of how important that part of football is.
Yeah, exactly. And I say this, I compare, and I get slandered for this on Twitter sometimes, and I do it nearly every week, and yet I still get smashed for it. I compare Salamakers to Gattuso, but not on a technical level. when Salamanca's and Calabria are on that right-hand side, we are absolutely fantastic. If I looked at some stats, some matches, and I think we've only won one game where Calabria and Salamanca haven't started this season together. The rest, with the games that they haven't started, we've lost, apart from one game. That just shows how integral they are to that team. Salamanca, especially on that right wing role, he creates so much space for the other players. His passes are really good. His runs are quite intelligent, which allows Ibra and Hakan to pick little places out. And that's why it reminds me of Gattuso, because without Gattuso in that team, Pirlo wouldn't have been as effective. Seedorf wouldn't have been as effective. Kaká wouldn't have been as effective. And these type of players, just because they don't get the statistics, it doesn't mean they're a bad player. Twitter now and this generation of football fans think everything's based off statistics, and it's not at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and this guy Ricardo Milano is saying, "How can you compare Salamanca and Gattuso? This is an abomination."
I'm not. I'm.
Well, at one point of his career, Gattuso was a Salamanca.
No.
In the beginning.
I understand what.
You know what I mean? People need to understand that.
No, I understand what John is saying. Yeah. Salamanca, it's basically quantity and quality. You know, those are the two aspects that you want from a soccer player. Quantity is much more important than they give it. And Salamanca has a lot of quantity. He works for the team. He runs back. He's always there. He never stops. And when he has the ball, he's always trying. He's always working. He's working. He's a hard worker. And Gattuso was a hard worker.
And he's only 21, and I'm not comparing him on a technical level. Or Gattuso won Champions League with us. He's won Scudetto with us. Salamanca will never win what Gattuso's won. There's a World Cup in there. But just for what they do for the team is what I'm talking about. And that's where they remind me of each other. Like, it's Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, Xavi and Iniesta were fantastic midfielders. But Busquets was key to that midfield because he did a lot of dirty work and with that intelligence that he allowed Xavi and Iniesta to have the freedom to play how they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why maybe you get a lot of people like comments like these is because Gattuso was like a phenomenal player at doing that kind of work. You know?
Oh yeah, of course.
He was like top. But you're definitely right. Salamanca is a team player that sacrifices himself. And Calabria too. Calabria is excellent. He has that same attitude.
Well, it's one of the things where I say, and I think I've done a thread on like the stats about it somewhere. But I'll back it up not with facts, and the facts are there that when Salamanca is playing, we're a lot better and we win games. He went on, I think, a 30-game unbeaten run in the Milan shirt. He didn't get his first loss till Juventus or Atalanta, and that just shows how vital he was to that thing. And then he had then he had COVID, I think, and then he had a little injury and stuff, and that's where we had a bit of a downward spiral when him and Calabria weren't playing down the right. Is when we were struggling because we had Dallo and Castello. So
yeah. Because I remember, you're right. He had that moment where he had that injury, and then he came back and he got a red card. The first game he came back from,
I think.
Exactly, and then from there he just never really. It just never came back. Yeah. But yeah, he has what it takes for sure.
He's 21, man. He has another 15 years career. I mean,
exactly.
He's just starting. He's a kid in a football way. It's like doesn't have any experience, and he's improving a lot. Going back to that comment, of course, we need a manager that brings us to the next level. But the manager to bring you to the next level, you take that manager when you have the team for the next level, when you have the player for the next level. So at the moment, if you bring Allegri and he's coaching Samu and Krunic, you're not gonna go to the next level.
He's born. I would not want Allegri. I would rather have Gianpaolo than Allegri. I mean, even if Allegri is going to win a Scudetto or whatever, the way Allegri plays football is the most ugliest thing I've ever seen on planet Earth. So Spalletti is interesting. I think he can play good for Milan. And Sarri is a top coach. I mean, Sarri, are you kidding me? I would love to have Sarri at Milan.
I would, and obviously Allegri, Spalletti, and Sarri, they are a better coach than Pioli. I'm not saying that they're not, but the proof's in the pudding with Allegri. When Ibrahimovic and got Thiago Silva got sold, his two best players, what did he do? Nothing. He needs big players to make his tactics work. Guardiola, you couldn't put Guardiola at Crotone and expect him to win the league. It wouldn't work. Some managers are for certain teams' level, and when they're in Pioli's been around for 20 years, but he's getting to that age. He's getting to that time now where he's found the perfect team for him that allows him to progress. You put a big manager in this team, and I don't think we'd make top four because some of the players are intelligent enough to play the top manager's way of football.
No. It's too early for the change of a manager. I totally agree. We need proper, right wing, left wing, a proper number 10. When we get that, I can see putting a great manager in there and getting the next level result. Trying to win something. As you say, I agree with you, Roy. Thinking that Allegri. I don't think this generation, Allegri, Sarri, and even Spalletti, this generation, they are great managers, but they are going going down a bit on the knowledge of football. They are quite not evolving anymore.
You're talking about Sarri? Sarri, you're talking about Sarri?
I'm including
not
Sarri as
Sarri.
well.
Not Sarri.
I think Sarri is a great manager, and they can. If you give them a great team, they can win for sure. But they're in that moment of their career. Their ideas are not new enough anymore.
I think
quick. Go.
I think if Sarri was at Milan would be playing like Barcelona's Guardiola's Barcelona.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I forgot what I was going to say. It was 1 second. It'll come back to me.
I'll tell you about Sarri. Even if you give him the PlayStation and he can actually control the players completely and tell them and move them wherever he wants, he's not going to play like Barcelona. Because the stats on FIFA of our players are not good enough to play like Barcelona. Even on FIFA, you cannot do that. Controlling completely.
Larry, that's not how it works, Larry.
No, it doesn't work.
You teach your players how you want them to play. I mean, they're all
execute what you're teaching, man. I can tell them.
Of course, Modric is going to play better than Mate, but you still have an idea of play.
Exactly. They're not going to execute that. That's the problem. The thing is, what the manager is saying and what the player is absorbing and executing is completely different.
Right. Milan most games hold the ball 60-70%. So that means that Milan has a technical ability to play that kind of football.
I think my issue is with the likes of Allegri and Sarri. People say that Pioli is narrow-minded and can only play one type of football, but so can these managers. They just do it on a higher level because they've got better IQ footballers to do it. Conte, he's a disaster in Europe because he doesn't have a plan B to play a different kind of football. He's only got one way of thinking. He's stubborn. He doesn't have a plan B. When it's going bad for him, it goes bad, and it can become a bit of a toxic environment. Allegri, he's got a bit of tactical sense about him. He can change it up a bit, but it's only because he's got a £500 million bench as well as a £1 billion starting lineup.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. Sarri, he can only play one. That's what he got criticised for at Chelsea because he only knows one type of football. Yeah, he won the Europa League with them, but he's only got, in a way, one type of football. And would we be sat here now getting annoyed because he's trying to implement his style? That's what managers do. They come in, they implement a style, and they'll stick with that style because if they don't believe in their own style of football, then how will the fans begin to believe in their type of football?
Yeah, no, for sure. And also the thing is that another thing to consider that like some teams have a certain identity. They have a certain DNA, they call it, right? Mm-hmm. Like a coach that coaches Milan, whether you're fighting for the 5th place or the 6th place or the 4th place or the 1st place, you need to play entertaining football because that's what the fans want. And I remember when Allegri played was coaching Milan and he won the Scudetto, everybody was criticizing the way they played. I thought Allegri was awful. I thought it was shit. I thought it was when I saw that Emanuelson was playing instead of Pirlo was playing instead of Milan. Sorry, when Emanuelson was playing instead of Pirlo, and then he's also defensive. Milan has to play beautiful champagne football, possession, attacking. That's how we won the Champions Leagues. That's how we must play.
Roy, Van Bommel was playing instead of Pirlo.
Right, but on the Mezzala, he was opting for Emanuelson instead of Pirlo. I know there was a little bit of tactical disputes there, but
because
again,
Nocerino played as well. Gattuso was playing. Seder was playing.
Right.
Cassano,
I know.
Robinho, Boateng, Ibrahimovic. I think I've seen that AC Milan. I even went to the stadium. They were playing pretty fast. It was an electric football, I would say. It wasn't a calcio champagne, I would say. It wasn't a tiki-taka, but it was a proper, aggressive and dominating football. And I remember we played without a real striker. Ibrahimovic was kind of a number 10 striker. He loved the ball, creating assists. So he had Boateng going in the box and scoring a lot. We were going and playing against Barcelona and fighting against them. That's Allegri, man. Allegri can do that.
I know. Allegri plays the style of football that it's all based on the mezzale and the inserimenti, getting in the box and then looking for those assists. But the way he plays is just so boring. You know?
Personally, for me, I will sit there and watch 38 1-0 wins all season long with our backs against it if there's a trophy at the end of it. For me, I couldn't care if we were winning 5-0, 6-0, but then we had a 1-0 loss or a 4-3 loss, like high scoring games. As long as there's a trophy at the end of it, I'll take any type of football. Obviously, I want to see fast flowing, tiki taka, champagne football, because that's kind of what we've all associated Milan growing up with and what we've seen when we've been winning. But right now, give me a Scudetto, a Coppa Italia, Europa League champ, any kind of trophy. I just want Milan to have silverware. And if that means playing horrible defensive football, I'll take it just to be back on top. Because trophies is what matters. No one remembers the teams that play good football and don't win. Like, people have already forgot about Sarri's Napoli because they didn't win all. People remember Gattuso's Napoli because he won a Coppa Italia. So I'd take winning a trophy over playing nice football. That's personally, anyway.
Yeah.
People are saying hi to you, John, by the way.
Oh, Lucas. Hi, Lucas. Hi, mate. You all right? So I do the Sempre Milan podcast weekly, and he comes on midweek, and he'll leave a bunch of ratings in the comments of how we've all performed. Normally, he's quite nice to me, so if he does that this week, I hope, fingers crossed. He should do ratings for us and tell us how we do.
He's awful with me, but that's fine.
I see Lucas on every Milan channel in the comments.
Yeah, he's it. Nice lad.
Yeah,
Lucas, are you secretly Maldini? You can tell us. Following all the AC Milan YouTube channel. But anyway, let's talk a bit of the next game, guys. You, Roy, have some stuff here prepared.
Yes. Okay, guys, let's get into this game against Parma. Let's start with a little bit of what Pioli said in his conference, which is give us an idea of where he is, and let's see what you guys think. Let me share here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so quality, tempo, Parma. Quality and tempo. Parma is all that matters. So, guys, first thing that I want you guys to consider is actually the standings. Okay, so Milan is second, but we are being chased quite hardly by the teams behind us. But Parma is in the relegation zone. This game is a final for both teams. This is a crucial game for both teams. So this is going to be a really good, interesting game.
Yeah, I've seen somewhere that Parma have got 9 or 10 players out injured too for this game.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So here, I just want to look at some things that Pioli said. One of the things I appreciate most about my team is their awareness of their own qualities and their desire to do well. The concentration they have in wanting to achieve important goals for the club and for the fans. When our performances are not up to par, we are disappointed, but we understand the mistakes we made against Sampdoria, mistakes that are not to be repeated. So you guys earlier were talking about all the mistakes they made. So Pioli addressed that, and let's see if they learn from these mistakes. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll get in this game with the right mentality?
Yeah, I think if they want to, a lot of questions have been asked now of everybody, of all the players at the club, the likes of Teo, the like Hakan, Gigio, Ibra to an extent, Leao. I think all these players, if they are serious and about the club, then they'll come out fighting tomorrow. And I think it's going to be one of them games where obviously I'll be satisfied with a 1-0 win because it's 3 points, but tomorrow is one of them games where I want us to see us be ruthless and win 3 or 4-0. Not necessarily playing pretty, I just want us to be ruthless. Any chance that we get, I want us to take it. I want it to be on target at the bare minimum, personally.
Yes.
And I want to say something. I'm sure they're going to perform and they're going to do a great game. And if Theo Hernandez doesn't pass it to the Parma player, probably we're going to win it. So I'm sure about that. And I just want to make sure people, when they see tomorrow Çalhanoğlu having a great game or any Castillejo having a great game, still they are not good enough for AC Milan next season. They need to understand that. They need to because we are the most bipolar supporters they probably need to be. I feel like some weeks we are like, oh my God, Çalhanoğlu is insane. Other weeks are like, oh my God, what's wrong with this guy? We need balance. And balance, it looks weird, but balance starts from the supporter to the manager. It's all the environment. So we're going to win against Parma. And probably we're going to win the next one after. We're going to have like 9 or 10 points in the next 4 games. And as soon as we get those 10 points, we just need to win against Benevento or Cagliari. And we are done with this fucking Champions League, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I think, I'm sure Pioli said it somewhere. I don't know if it was definitely Pioli, but I've read it somewhere. If we maintain our points average for this season, then at the end of the season, we'll hit 80 points. 80 points is...
Yeah, it was his conference.
It's Scudetto worthy is 80 points. At the like in this last few seasons, 80 points nearly gets you to Scudetto level. It definitely gets you top 4. So I've said all season long, and I'm saying it even more so now, I'm not too worried. I think we'll win tomorrow. I think we'll win against Genoa. I think we'll beat Sassuolo. And then I think we'll only need 2, maybe 3 more wins and the top 4 secured. I'm fairly confident. When you look at the table, I mean, Napoli's up there, but they're far too inconsistent. Roma's there, but they're still in the Europa. They're a bit too inconsistent. Lazio, they're on a great run, but again, their start to the season, it just won't be enough to get them into the top 4. And all these teams from 1st place to 7th place, apart from us, are playing each other in the next couple of weeks. So someone's got to drop points. So as long as we do our job, then top 4 secured.
Yeah, definitely. We need to do our job. Yeah. And some people are asking actually how we screw Parma. Well, in my opinion is basic. You just press, you fight, you play simple, you cross a lot. You put that ball in the box near Ibrahimovic most of the time. 5, 10, 12 times in all the game, Ibrahimovic is going to score once. You didn't just that's the thing.
In my opinion, I don't screw 11 men. But in terms of Milan actually playing football and beating Parma...
definitely. We're going to avoid that, definitely.
In terms of Milan beating Parma, if you look to the start of the season when we played them, I think we had 35 shots on goal against Parma. I think that's maybe hit the post like 4 times. I think it was either Parma or Verona, but I'm pretty sure it was Parma, where
Parma, yeah.
where we just kept on shooting, and the goalkeeper made save after save after save. I think we will, if you want to call it we'll screw Parma.
Yeah, and real quick, what Pioli said when he was asked this question, he said, "We create." So let me read the whole paragraph. "We can't keep looking back on missed opportunities. If we maintain our current average points per game, we will end the season on around 80 points." So that's what you just said right there. So 20 more points to go, an amount that would allow us to achieve our goal. Pressure, we created for ourselves. A year ago, we were aiming for a place in the Europa League. Is that true? They were aiming for a Europa League? And today we're aiming for a place.
When Gianpaolo took over, it was, you've got to get the Europa League at the bare minimum. And then obviously we were in 10th when then Pioli took over Gianpaolo. And it was, if you can get us Europa League, then very good. If you don't, then it's all right. And then he made us believe that even that season, I think there was a point towards the end of that season where there was maybe 7 games left and we were 10 points off top 4, and people were thinking, whoa, the way Milan are playing, we could actually maybe just sneak top 4 here. Obviously, that was a dream, but he's right in what he said. I think top 4 has been the goal all year long. We've dreamt to the Scudetto because we were being so close, but realistically, at the start of the season, if someone had said after 30 games you'll be second in the league, not dropped out of the top 2 all year, and overall you've had more than 50 injuries in the season, we'd have been like, go build a statue of Pioli outside San Siro or Casa Milan.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then he continued, and today we're aiming for a place in the Champions League. We have overcome various obstacles thanks to our mental strength, which we must bring with us on the pitch tomorrow, with the personality and desire to play well from the start to the finish. When you go ahead, you gain more conviction, confidence, and strength. We need quality and tempo. When we don't succeed in this, we get into difficulty. So yeah, like Larry, you were saying, he wants to prepare the team to go in and play fast football. As a matter of fact, I was also reading the trainings that they were doing, and the trainings are all revolved around fast possession. There's always this theme of speed. Every time I read the trainings that AC Milan doing right now, it's always speed and speed and speed.
Yeah, if you think of the way that we played after lockdown in last season, this season, our tempo, as soon as we got the ball, it was from our box to their box in 5 or 6 passes. It were bang, 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 goal or shot on target at least. I think tomorrow, the key thing tomorrow is get the goal within inside the first 20 minutes so we relax. Because the more the game goes on, the longer we don't score, the doubts will creep in. The best thing we can do is score early on, and then I think we will just we'll steamroll the game.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's look at the team, the squad list, which is actually I have a link from here from the right here. So according to the latest from Sky Italia, the AC Milan fans, Gianluigi Donnarumma will be in goal, protected by the back of Diego Dalot, Seaman Kjaer, Fikayo Tomori, and Theo Hernandez. So I think this is the defense that I expected. Dalot, Kjaer, Tomori, and Hernandez. I heard some reports were saying Kalulu. That's really, it's about who is going to play. Is it going to be Dalot or Kalulu, really? But the other 3 are going to be those. And another thing here, another thing that I wanted to mention about Davide Calabria, in the press conference, Pioli said that Davide Calabria is back with the team next week. So they're expecting him to be back on the pitch pretty soon. And he also mentioned how important Calabria is. So in the midfield, Milan is going to play with Ismail Benacer and Frank Kessie, which is... What do you guys think? Do you think that Benacer is going to play the same way he was playing before his injuries? Do you think he's ready for that?
I think he'll get back to that, but he's had such a long time out. It's going to take a bit of time just to get that connection back with Kessie. So I'd start Tonali, but...
Oh, you would start Tonali. What about you, Larry?
I will start Tonali, but it's not a... it's not a big deal. It's still Benacer has been a week now, so probably he's been working with the team more and getting those understanding how his mates are moving in the pitch after 2 months not playing. So it's not a big deal. I'm really worried about Dalot. I think he never played really well on the right side. He's always playing better on the left side. So I always prefer Kalulu on Dalot. But
Okay.
I understand what Pioli is thinking. Pioli is thinking I need someone with better feet, so technically better to push a bit more on the right side. But I feel like the right wing is quite weak if you put Casti and Dalot together. You need a strong dude. You need Kalulu on the back because it's tougher, it's more solid, it's concentrated. So if Samu makes some mistakes, he's always going to cover.
I think the thing with having the lot there is you've got, if you look at the game from the point of Parma shouldn't cause us too many problems defensively. We should be on top of them. So in theory, Dalot shouldn't have a lot of work to do. So Dalot is more attacking, so expect to have an extra attacking player on the pitch because Kjær and Tomori alone should be able to cope with Parma's attack. So in a way, it's kind of like having an extra forward on the pitch, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, guys, so let me continue. So the center forward Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be supported by the trident Alexis Salamakers on the right wing, according to Sky Italia. Rebic on the left, Çalhanoğlu as a playmaker. So this is pretty much the team that won all those games minus Calabria. It's pretty much the same team that was had that unbeaten run, except for Calabria.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is we've got now Leao back. We've got, hopefully, fingers crossed, Mandzukic is going to give us at least 4 goals in the last 9 games. That'd be nice. Just 4 goals off him would be good. And then you've got Diaz off the bench, Hauger off the bench, Tonali off the bench, Krunic. You've got all these players now coming off the bench, whereas before we had Daniele Maldini coming off the bench. So all these players are back now, which is going to be nice and allow us to play that more attacking football, that vicious pressing football that we can make 5 changes, bring on fresh legs and still be playing at the high tempo that we play in post-lockdown.
Yeah, and actually, since you brought that up, let's look at the full squad list for tomorrow. So we have goalkeepers, the Donnarumma brothers, Tatarusano. Defenders, we have Dalot, Gabbia, Hernandez, Kalulu, Kjær, Tomori. So pretty solid. Midfielders, everybody is back. Benacer, Çalhanoğlu, Casillo, Diaz, Hagre, Kessi, Krunic, Meite, Salamakers, Tonali. Forwards, Ibrahimovic, Mandzukic, Rebic. Wow, Mandzukic. So the only players that are out are Maldini and
Calabria.
Yeah.
And Calabria. I mean, shit. Pioli has no excuses, for tomorrow.
No, not really. Not really.
What about, let's talk a bit the shocking news, Romagnoli, Bernardeschi.
Oh no!
And I want to connect this news with the AC Milan Twitters, account and all the people and the reaction. It was quite funny. I want to start with this time because I want to just explain a bit my opinion. I did some research and Bernardeschi is earning 7.5 million, so it's not going to happen. Don't worry, guys, it's not going to happen. He's earning 7.5 million, and but if Bernardeschi is earning 3 million, and you have Romagnoli, so you're not doing anything with Romagnoli. He's not going to sign a new contract. He's going to leave for free. I know how Raiola thinks, so he's going to leave for free. But and you have Romagnoli, I would say, and if Bernardeschi is earning 3 million, I will do the exchange. I think Bernardeschi is better than Castillejo. I think Bernardeschi can play at the level of Çalhanoğlu, and he's gonna get a 4 million contract for 4 years. He's 26. He's still getting called by Mancini, so I think he has a talent. There is something there. I don't think Juventus is getting the full potential from him, and I think he's not motivated at all. He needs a new, fresh start and trying to get a career at this point because all the young players in Italy, they choose Juventus. They go to Juventus. They never break. Few of them become decent players. They all disappear. So I think it needs that change. But it's not going to happen. So don't worry, AC Milan supporters. It's not going to happen. He's earning too much for us. But we need to find a place for Romagnoli, because I feel like he's not going to renew. Raiola is telling him, "Don't worry, I'll find your team. He's gonna give you 6 million next year. So just don't sign for AC Milan. We're losing another 20 million profit. So I hope AC Milan finds a player to exchange with for. I will pay 20 million and Romagnoli for Kulusevski, for example. I wouldn't mind something like that.
I think we Kulusevski, yes, he's very young and there's a lot of talent there. Bernardeschi, I'd swap him with Castillejo, and that's about it.
Nothing moves.
Nothing moves. It'd just be having an Italian national on the team. No, with Bernardeschi, there was a lot of talent there. It was obvious to see. That's why Juventus paid the money that they paid for him. My only worry is now, when a player has a lot of talent, but then they stop for using that talent for 2-3 years, to get that back and to unlock it, it can be a lot harder than it's even worth. And then you look at past players that were bought from Juventus recently: Bonucci, Higuain, Caldara, Mandzukic. I suppose, I know we didn't directly buy him from Juve, but I just think it'd be having a slightly better Castillejo, but it still wouldn't be the upgrade that we needed. And with it, obviously he's not super old, but I just don't think it'd be worth it on personally. I don't know about you, Roy.
This is a tough one. I would say no. My initial instinct would be no. I think Bernardeschi, one of his problems with Juventus is that the team is so packed that he hasn't had the opportunity to be consistent. But when he was consistent with Fiorentina, he was a really good player. He was helping Fiorentina achieve some pretty decent goals. But I think I said who I would like on the right. I think Berardi is my first option.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely go for him rather than Bernardeschi.
I think my issue with Bernardeschi is, and if I base this on the way that Milan supporters think, just solely on the way Milan supporters think, they want an upgrade on Castillejo.
Sorry?
Castillejo, they want an upgrade on Castillejo, the Milan supporters, which is fair enough. Yes. We all do. In Castillejo's last 53 league games, he's got more goals and more assists than Bernardeschi, who's got 4 goals and assists in total in 53 league games. So just basing it off the way that Milan supporters think, you're not getting an upgrade there. Obviously, there's more to it, like we said, stats and everything, but people slam Castillejo for not impacting the team, but then they want Bernardeschi, who hasn't impacted the event.
Maybe Bernardeschi would be better in just possession.
Yeah, no, probably. Like I said, I'm not based on just the way that Milan Twitter supporters think.
Yeah, no.
If you base it solely off stats, then you're not getting an upgrade. If anything, you're getting a downgrade, I suppose.
Yeah. No, I don't want. I am not thinking of Bernardeschi. Not in this moment of his career. Berardi, that's the guy we got to get. Berardi, let's go. Come on, Maldini.
Berardi, it's as I told you, Roy. Berardi's always been kind of a golden boy. Talking about golden boy, so he's been always a great young player. It's quite expensive. That's the problem. Still, we are going for players that are quite expensive, 30 million. We still need to find a solution for Romagnoli, to sell Casti, to sell Krunic, and some players are coming back. Caldara, what are you going to do with Caldara? It's even a logistic thing. I want to get rid of Romagnoli, have a player in an attacking side of the pitch, so I can give some space to Caldara and Gabbia as well. So it's more like even logical more than actually there is talent in there. I want to move some stuff around.
I have a theory for Caldara and Romagnoli, actually. I say, on a personal opinion, Caldara he's a mid-table defender now. He's not even top 7 anymore, I don't think. Swap it, say to Verona, we'll give you 5 million with Caldara and give us Lobato as a defensive replacement. And then with Romagnoli, send him to his boyhood club at Lazio. And we'll take Luis Alberto, send him a bit of cash. Take Luis Alberto as the upgrade to Hakan. We've been linked with Alberto. It doesn't look like he's going to sign a contract. His contract expires in 2022. So Lazio look like they're going to get rid. Lazio, I think today or yesterday, I read somewhere they're looking at, they want an experienced defender. Romagnoli, you could class as an experienced Serie A defender. So pack Romagnoli's bags back to the capital. Ciao. Bring in Luis Alberto, get rid of Hakan, and you've probably freed up some money along with processing wages.
I mean, Luis Alberto, I mean, he's a really, really good player.
He's an upgrade on Hakan. An upgrade that we need on Hakan, I think.
Yeah.
This is the right comment, by the way. No, I just want to say I checked these stats. Yeah, Bernardeschi has played 800 minutes. Castillo has played 2,000 minutes.
Yeah,
and Bernardeschi has played a lot of games as a left back because no one trusts him anymore at Juventus of playing forward because they put Kulusevski, they put Ronaldo, they put Dybala, Chiesa, Ramsey, and all these players. So I think Bernardeschi, it's not going to happen because he earns 7.5 million. It's not going to happen. If it happens next summer for free. So, but I think he can perform in a team like AC Milan pretty well. Not like he performed with
I agree with you.
It was just a stat that I'd seen somewhere. It wasn't based off this season alone. I think it was something like the last 53 matches, something crazy. He's only got 4 goals and assists in total in Serie A, which for my only issue is if he has been playing more at left. If he has been playing more at left back, we don't want a backup left back for Juventus being our starting right winger. That's just it's a nice idea, and I do think there is talent there in Bernardeschi, but I think there's better players more suited to us than Bernardeschi. And my only fear is with Romagnoli, it'd bite us in the arse because he'd end up being good at Juventus. I don't care if he's good at Lazio or anywhere else. If he went to Juventus, he'd bite us in the arse and he'd be good and we'd regret it.
Hey, I want to share something. One more thing here because we were talking about Atalanta, Caldara, and all these other things. But here, look at this news that came out. Very, very interesting. Look at this. Tutto Sport via Milan News are reporting that AC Milan are considering a move for Atalanta attacking midfielder Matteo Pessina. So we've spoken about this and the deal. So now the numbers are starting to come out. Milan would like to re-sign him after selling him to Atalanta as part of a deal for right back Andrea Conti. Okay, so they're thinking about putting that aspect in the deal. They note that another player could return from Atalanta back to Milan in Mattia Caldara, who has struggled with injury since returning. Nicolo Shira is now reporting that Atalanta will consider selling the young attacking midfielder in the summer despite exercising their option to extend his contract until 2024. Milan will be forced to pay about 15 million as Atalanta are expected to value him at 30 million. Milan will get him at half the price as they have 50% sell-on clause for the former Primavera player. A number of clubs are interested in the player, and this could lead to a market frenzy in the summer. I mean, what are we waiting for? Let's get this player for half the price.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
He's got Champions League experience now with Atalanta, and he kind of came through our academy, I suppose. I think I remember us signing him when he was about 16, 17. I want to say we signed him from somewhere like Verona's academy or something like that. I remember him signing and taking the pictures with Galliani. But for 15 million, I really do like Pessina, but if we could get Diaz for 15 million, I think I'd take Diaz.
But if you think about Pessina, you think like Çalhanoğlu was 5 million, so it's basically 7 million a year. For 3 years, it's 21 million. You don't resign Çalhanoğlu, you use that money to get Pessina. He's younger. He has a lower salary. He's Primavera Milan, which means a lot for when you go with the list of players in Champions League. You need players from the Primavera as well. So I think it's 100% sure the Pessina thing if we go in Champions League. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'd like.
You think
I
that's
don't know
gonna
if the player wants. Yeah, I think it's 100% sure.
Like Pessina, I just when you put it
you
in
would
the
rather
terms of like, I don't know if I'd rather it be Diaz. I just 50 million on Pessina. I don't. It's not even a lot. It just there's something about it where I think Diaz is going to be. I think we discussed it last time. He's going to end up being a top player, and I just think if you can get Diaz at the same price and still younger than Pessina, I think I'd go with Diaz personally.
But with Diaz, you can play the fact that Real Madrid has a lot of players that they don't know what to do with those players. So you can get another year of loan and buy him at the end. You know what I mean? There is a lot of ways you can play with.
If we can keep them
Diaz
both, if we can get them both, I'll be optimal. Pessina can also be a solution for the right wing, by the way. And another thing I heard is that there's this possibility that Diaz might be playing right wing too tomorrow.
Yeah, I've seen that. Pioli hinted at it in his press conference.
Correct. Yeah.
He's done that before.
Yeah, I think it would be a nice experiment to see if it'd work, but I'd just pick the best 11 players available and get 3 points.
Yeah, for sure. We can't risk anything. But yeah, I would if this Pessina thing comes, and yeah, I would do it. I would do it.
The trouble is,
and keep Diaz
with Pessina and Diaz. Whichever one we signed, I wouldn't see being a starting number 10 next year for us. I'd still class them as a rotation option. So having both of them would worry me slightly. So that's where I mean, if I had to pick one out of the two to be the rotation, I think Diaz has got a high ceiling to improve and bring something.
I want to just say something on this one. I've seen Pessina, I think 3 games or 4 games. And the way he plays, he reminds me of number 10, like Boateng at AC Milan. So a guy he runs a lot, he goes to the box, and he plays simple. He doesn't dribble a lot. He just, passes the ball and runs. Diaz is more number 10, so he has he dribbles, he puts that nice pass and all these things. I will keep both of them, and I don't mind being both of them kind of a starter. Depends on the game. You need more. You need strength. You put Pessina. You need creativity. You put Diaz. I still think Pessina is ready to play in Champions League for AC Milan and in Serie A for AC Milan. So yeah, right wing and left wing. Where are we going, man? What are we doing? Because I think Rebic is going to be our second striker next season. Ibrahimovic's first choice, Rebic second choice. So we need a left wing and a right wing. And we need the proper one. We need Gareth Bale straight away. A loan, and that's it. And on the left side, I'll go for, I don't know. Guys, you help me. You help me.
I'd seen this week that Insigne's agent had been at Casa Milan. And we've got 3 left wingers. I don't think we need a 4th because I think Leao and Hauger are good enough. On the Rebic, we were actually talking in the group chat the other day, me and my friend, and we were saying we'd probably sell Rebic this summer just because he's still got a decent value. He's a good age still. But is he Champions League quality? Personally, I'm not so sure. So if you could get 20 million for Rebic, bearing in mind, when we signed him on the books for 2.5 million. So if you can sell him for 20 million, that's capital gains. That'd look brilliant for financial fair play. And then reinvest that on maybe another left winger, pump that money for Belotti, bring it into the attacking midfield, something like that. While Rebic's stock is still at a reasonable level, and he only ever gives us a good season, I personally had to sell him.
Were you hinting at Insigne possibly coming?
Yeah, he's been not linked with us. His agent came to Casa Milan this week for a courtesy visit, apparently. But there's rumours about it.
If Insigne's coming, I'm okay with selling Rebic, Leao, and Hagwe.
No, I wouldn't sell Leao and Auge. I still think you're right. Rebic has a more market than the other. I don't want to say anything about the others. So it makes sense to sell it if there is an offer. But on the other side, I wouldn't think like selling a player like Rebic now is a great idea for the reason that imagine if Rebic does not a great, but a good Champions League season. And he's like, it goes as a target for teams like in Germany, in Spain, in England, maybe. I don't know. You never know that. Or France as well. So you can actually, if this summer you sell it for 20, after a good Champions League season, you can sell it for 40. After the coronavirus, after the economic crisis, and all this shit. So
I agree with that, but just on the fact that, say, because obviously the accounts say that we signed him for 2.5 million, 3 million, because of the deal with Andre Silva. That's how cheap we signed him for. So if you sell him now, while his stock is still at a good level, and bearing in mind, in the 2 years that he's been here, we've had one probably full good year out of him, and you could reinvest that in Belotti for 20 million, I think it'd be a no-brainer, because you've got the risk with Rebic of, if he doesn't have a good Champions League season, it's all ifs and buts, but if he doesn't have a good Champions League season, then his stock's going to plummet, whereas Leao and Haug are still young enough to keep their transfer value, their stock fairly high, even if they have a bad season.
Yeah, if we have to sell Rebic to get Belotti, sign me up for sure.
It's really hard to sell players this summer, especially. I will be happy if we get 20 millions from Casti and Krunic.
Who's gonna pay 20 million for Castillo?
I think
no, 10 and 10. I'm saying 10 and 10, so 20 million total. I'll be celebrating.
I think
we won the
some
Champions
people are underestimating, in a sense, how low some players' transfer value is going to be this summer. Clubs like Sassuolo, who will rely on finishing as high as possible or getting the gate income, and they haven't been able to get it, especially in Italy, they're going to struggle this summer because they haven't had the revenue coming in. So players like Berardi or, say, Lovato at Verona, Belotti at Torino, all them, the good players at the small clubs that need the income from match revenue, I think they're going to sell some star players at a decent amount just to stay afloat.
Yeah.
I don't know the other teams, but Sassuolo has a really rich president in Italy, and they make money more on TV rights than actually the stadium makes 15 million a year. TV rights are 45 million, so they lost basically. There's not a big loss for smaller is the team. That's why for AC Milan it was a great season, because AC Milan San Siro was half empty. So we didn't lose a lot of money compared to the previous year because we were doing shit with the stadium. So and we still got the TV rights.
Yeah,
next season hopefully we're getting more money. Yeah.
I'm just using Sassuolo as an
example.
Like them type of teams that have got one, maybe two star players who rely on the income from the gate receipts just to keep the financial fair play and everything in order. I think them type of teams are going to have to sell the big players this summer, but no one's going to overpay this summer neither, because everyone's been affected by COVID. So some of them players I think are going to go at a decent price.
I think you bring up a really good point, and this
I think
usually happens.
Roma is in a bad position economically. So
Lazio may be in a bad position too.
It's not incredible. So and Parma is going down. I don't know if Parma has some good players. I don't know. Or some talents.
Don't they have a left back that is very interesting? What's his name? Di Marco or Di
Marco? I love, but he's on loan from Inter. Unfortunately, he's one of my favorite players.
Inter is not a great position. Inter is not a great position. So if you want Di Marco, you go and get Di Marco from Inter.
Yeah, I think if you look at Belotti at Torino, and Torino, they're gonna have to. If Torino go down, and even if they don't go down, they're gonna have to sell him this summer because he's not going to sign a contract extension, and his contract expires in a year. You can get him for maximum 20 million. I think that's how I think that's how cheap he'll be this summer, and someone will snap it. And I think it's got to be us.
Yeah, yeah. Also, because he has to, he has to make the move. He has to initiate it.
I don't think because he's linked so many times with AC Milan. I don't think he's gonna move to AC Milan. I think Maldini and Massa, they always have a name that no one's thinking at the moment. I have this idea, and because they signed Ibrahimovic, I don't think Belotti wants to stay in the bench.
I think next season, I think Ibrahimovic has signed this contract to help the young players next season. He knows he's not going to play more than 20 games next year. Surely he's got to know that. Because his body can't physically do it. It couldn't do it this year. It's definitely not going to be able to do it a year older, especially after playing the Euros for Sweden.
Yeah.
And it would be a good transition year with Ibrahimovic. Belotti can learn a lot from Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Ibrahimovic is not going to play all the game. He only played half a game so far. I think it would be fine. It wouldn't be a problem at all. We have to get these players.
There is a message here. What about strikers? I don't know about him. Anyone knows him?
No,
I'm not sure. There was one thing I wanted to go first. I don't know who this player is, to be honest with you. Striker Lasson. This here, which is kind of something I want to talk about. Our form of San Siro is unacceptable. I think Pioli needs to change the tactics when playing at home. What do you guys think is going on here? Like, what's happening?
This year, personally, I don't think it matters if you're home or away, except the travel time, because every stadium is the same. So,
good point.
Even if we had the same amount of points but winning all our home games, we'd be moaning that our away form is bad. And the only way to have a good home and away form is by winning the league, like Inter are doing. They just win home or away. And I'd be more concerned if we was losing all these games at home in front of 80,000 fans than I am of no fans being there, but then going away from home the next week and making back the points. To me, this season, it doesn't feel like you're playing home or away. I don't even notice what stadium we're playing in when I'm watching the game because they all look the same.
I agree. Yeah, it doesn't influence a lot. Maybe you know the pitch a bit more, but nothing big. And the people need to understand the games we had at home. Did we actually had another game 3 days before? That's why we didn't gain points. So you need to see other variable. You need to see how many injuries we had before that game. So maybe it's like we lost a lot of games at home because before that game we had another game, we had some injuries or other things happen. So that's what we need to understand. It's not just because we played at home. If you see the whole season, maybe we played at home and before 3 days we had a Coppa Italia game and we rest and we had a game away, so we won. So there is a lot of variable. As you said, the stadium is empty, so I don't think it matters so much.
Yeah. These are all good points. I honestly can't really put a finger onto it. I find it a little bit strange. Because the stadiums are empty, I find it strange. But I don't know. I don't know really what they can do, what Pioli can do. But he also brought up this other thing here, which was interesting. Pioli needs to change the tactics when playing at home. So forget playing at home, but do you think he is relying too much on the same tactics?
No. Personally, no. But that's my opinion.
I like managers that actually are a bit flexible. They understand a bit, especially when you don't have the best team in the world. So you don't have the best players in the world. I like flexible managers that actually say, you know what, today I don't have the best striker, so I'm going to put one more midfielder, for example. Or I don't have enough good midfielders, so I'm going to put an extra striker, an extra defender. So I like that flexibility once in a while. So probably this season, Pioli could have done that. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think with tactics, there's two types of tactics. There's the one where on how you play in the match, and then the other type of tactics is changing formations. You can play the 4-3-3 formation, for example, and the 4-3-3 formation twice, but have totally different tactics in the game. I think Pioli has shown very well that his tactical ability in different games is very good. And the only times it's come into question is when we've gone through this injury run. Like at the start of the year when players were fit and we win all our games, no one once questioned Pioli's tactics. But now because we're on this poor form, but then you take injuries into account, how can he have the tactical flexibility when he hasn't got the players to be flexible with? You can only be so flexible with Castillo and Krunic at right wing and left wing.
But you can put an extra midfielder. You can play with 3 midfielders. You can play with Benacer, Tonali, and Kessie, and play with 2 strikers, Rebic and Ibrahimovic.
Who would you sacrifice?
You can, but then how many times this season has he had that luxury to put Tonali, Benacer, and Kessie in at the same time, and 2 strikers
a week ago
on the pitch?
A week ago, for example, he could have done that. He could have said, I don't trust Krunic. I don't think Krunic is good enough, so I'll put Tonali.
Yeah, fair enough. But then if you do that and you put the 3 midfielders in and the 2 strikers in at the same time, we didn't have any strikers to ring off the bench if that tactic wasn't working.
You can put Auga. You take Tonali out and put Auga, and you go back to that position. Because you have 3 midfielders, you can actually push a bit more with the Theo Hernandez. He can push more because he knows he has 3 midfielders backing him up. Or you can, because you put in Selemakers as a right back, having 3 midfielders is going to allow Selemakers being less, precise in the defensive side and go more in attacking side. And if you have Rebic and Ibrahimovic together and Çalhanoğlu, they can actually be more forward because you have 3 midfielders actually covering. So it kind of it's a surprise for Sampdoria at least. But they get prepared for something else.
Rebic had just come back from an injury, like the hip inflammation, and then Benacer, he needed to gain the match fitness. But like we said earlier, the Sampdoria game, it wasn't really a problem with the tactics. It was just one individual mistake as such. So if you go back to the other games, like against Manchester United in the first leg, Pioli's tactics were spot on. And there was a tactical flexibility there because he had Kessie and Mete in the centre midfield while keeping the same formation. And if you look at other games like that, I think he does show that even with sticking with the same formation, he does have the tactical flexibility in a way to allow us to play different types of football without changing it up too much. And I like a manager that trusts in his ideas and even when it's not going well, sticks to them ideas as opposed to it going bad one game, then switching it to another tactic, and not letting the players have any consistency in the tactics.
Do you know that game when we had Mete as a number 10? Do you remember? I think it was one of the first game.
I remember. I think it went to Torino when he first, not Torino. Oh yeah.
Something. I think
it
was a game. It didn't. That thing didn't went well. And when I saw that, I thought myself, that's a lack of flexibility because you have Mete that is not gonna play like Çalhanoğlu. He's not gonna perform in that position. So why you don't play with 3 midfielders?
Yeah,
that's the players you have.
I feel like the game that we were either chasing or we were just trying to see out the win. So by bringing Mete on and playing him in that 10 role, I can't remember if we were chasing.
No, he started. He started in the 10 role.
It was kind of.
He started. The formation was a 4-2-1-3, and the 1 was Mete.
Is that the game where we didn't have the likes of Çalhanoğlu available, Krunic available? We didn't have them players available.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have available, but you don't put your player in the wrong position. You change the tactics so your Mete can actually perform as a midfielder better than a number 10. So keep them, but put 3 midfielders.
Or he could have just put. Sorry, let me just say it real fast. Or he could have just put Tonali as a number 10 and Mete and Kessie in the pivot.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. I do remember slightly a bit the game, but then I think that was the game where we were kind of playing the long balls. I think I'm trying to remember it because it was a game where Mate came on in the number 10 role too, so I might get mixed up. But that was the game where I think we had someone like Leao up front, and you can't play the long balls to Leao. So I think Mate was there for his height to kind of win the balls for Leao, but it might not have been that game. I might think of a different one.
That was another
But
game. He came from.
that
I'm
could
talking
be
about
another game.
we start with Mate, and I know I've seen Mate a few times, and I can tell you cannot be a number 10. So play with three midfielder. Put Mate as a midfielder. So at least, of course, you're gonna be less creative, but at least you're gonna have three midfielders. You're gonna get all the balls in the middle, and with set pieces, maybe you win it. You create some counter-attacking. That is the flexibility I think Pioli is lacking in the difficult moments. And you get maybe 2 points more in that game. And if you do that flexibility, 3 games of the season, I'm not saying he has to change it every time. Those 3 games of the season, maybe you have 6 points more at the end of the whole, run. Or 3 points more, just 3 points more.
But then, for example, in training all that week, say, for example, obviously, he hasn't just thrown Mate in on the day of the game thinking, no, let's go with it. He must have been trying him in that role all week in training for him to go ahead and do it. If he was doing well in that role in training, then obviously we don't know. That's just an assumption. But then if he's tried him in that role and it's worked, then go ahead, play him in that role. And then obviously it didn't work. But I'm sure he changed something in that. Did he not bring him off at half time or put him then into the double pivot?
He changed at halftime. But we lost at halftime. That's the thing.
Who was it against? I just can't remember it against.
I need to find. I
think it was literally his second game with AC Milan.
Exactly.
It was
second game.
One of the very, very first games he played for AC Milan.
Was it? No, it wasn't in the Coppa, was it?
It wasn't in the Coppa. In the Coppa, he was a disaster, by the way, but it wasn't in the Coppa.
I don't want to say Atalanta. I think it was Atalanta. He started with Atalanta.
I think it was. Yes, it was Atalanta. Right. Yes.
That's the perfect game. Atalanta is attacking. It's like a fucking demons in their bodies. You know that. Put 3 midfielders and then you're going to do 0-0 with Atalanta, maybe. Or you're going to lose 1-0. You're going to lose 1-0 with Atalanta. Maybe. Or at least that's the thing.
I remember that game. Yeah, it was Atalanta. It was.
There is this concept of the managers in 2021. If they change their beliefs, they are less valuable. I see it even in Premier League. If Arteta is keeping his same formation and he's fucking doing awful, it's like not winning a game. And he's not changing it, and everyone is saying, oh, he needs to trust his beliefs. Yeah, he needs to trust his beliefs. But how many games you need to lose to understand that you don't have the players for your beliefs? Yeah, and you actually need to say, you know what, I don't have the player.
And I'm starting to remember that a bit more now. But like I said, it's one of them things where in training, he must have tried it to go ahead. Pioli has been around 20 years. He's not that stupid to think, oh, let's just throw him in and hope it works. So he must have been trying it. And if it worked in training and you've gone with it in training, then you got to go with it. The stupid thing to have done would have been to keep it like that in the second half. But at least he made the change as soon as he could. But if he tried it in training and it was working in training, that's what training's there for. So you've got to go with it.
Yeah, and I also remember him talking about it, and now it's starting to come back to me. And he was saying that why he put him there, and he put him there because he thought that, he would have been better to press the possession of Atalanta in a higher, closer to in their own half, but it just didn't work. And
so I think he said so they could revert to a 3-man midfield when needed. But then at the end of the game, he also said he'd play him in the number 10 role again, because he believes in that position for him.
Yeah, and Mate has actually played in that position again recently, and he's done really well. It was just that Mate at the time was still adapting. Right now, Mate, what do you guys think? Like, Mata has been playing really well. His last performances have been quite impressive.
I think 7 million overall for what he's done so far. 7 million is probably about right. But if Torino go down, I think we can get him cheaper. And as a fourth, fifth choice player, I think I think you've got to exercise it.
Yeah, like a fifth player, a fifth for sure. He'd be really good. Guys, Saif Najar says, Leao disappoints me. Guy has potential to become one of the best strikers wingers in the world, but he is just so lazy. He's more interested in becoming a professional rapper. He's young, but patience, no.
How much we paid for Leao? 20 million, something like that. 20 or 30?
30, I think. 25.
25 million. And he's been playing for AC Milan how many years? 2 years now? So
yes, yeah. He's a youngster. He's under 21.
My issue with Leao is when he's played with Ibra, when Ibra's been a striker and he's played left wing, and then he's kind of gone into like a second striker role mid-game, playing off Ibra, he's been fantastic. He'd be one of the first names on the team sheet. But since all these players got injured, he's played striker by himself, trying to do what Ibra does, and he can't do that. Exactly. He's been played on the right wing, he's been played on the left wing, he's been asked to create like Hakan, he's been asked to press like Salah. That's not his game, and unless you utilise that player to his strengths, then you're not going to see the potential unfold. But I do agree he needs to focus on football more than he does rapping, because his rapping's awful.
Yes. Yeah, on the left, he did well when the team was fit. Like, people were saying a lot of good things about him. Like you said this earlier, which I hate, but it's not just Milan. It's I don't know if it's soccer in general, but it's Italy for sure. You have these players that will play 2 games and they're the best in the world. They mess up one game and all of a sudden these are the most useless players to ever touch a soccer ball.
Leao needs to understand that a good striker in football can make more money than a good rapper. That he needs to understand that, first of all. Haaland is going to make 30 million a year next season, probably, or in 2 seasons. And the good rapper doesn't make that money. I don't know how many they need to sell, how many CDs or whatever Spotify clicks they need to get that money. So he needs to understand that first. Second of all, second thing, I'm gonna wait for Leao until the age of 23. So I'm gonna wait for another 2 years. Because at the age of 23, if you still don't understand how to play for AC Milan, how to stay in a pitch, you're going to get sold for 20 million or 15 or whatever. Somebody's going to buy you. I'm going to understand at 23, you are a mid-table player or you're a top player or you're a squad player. I'm waiting 23.
He's so young and there's so much potential that's untapped. It'd be stupid in a way to get rid of him. And I think a generation of football fans now, especially like the Twitter generation, they're so quick they call young players' careers over before players 10, 15 years ago had even began. Some players were playing at top level until they were 23, 24. Now they're expected to do it at 16-year-old. In 10 years' time, we'll be seeing teenagers at 13 starting for Barcelona because that's what the expectations will come to. You've got to be realistic and look at when he came here, he was 19. A 19-year-old moving to a new country with a new language. Okay, Italian and Portuguese, people might say it's a bit similar compared to someone that comes from Japan or something. But you've just got to look at the little factors and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of potential there. And if we just stick him in a position, he's not vice Ibrahimovic because he's not an Ibrahimovic type of player. He's not Çalhanoğlu because he's not that type of player. He's a left winger that can get forward. He does do his fair share of pressing. He's got so much skill. The way that he turned that Inter player inside out in the first match this season was magnificent. Yeah, the way that last year when he took on about 5 or 6 Fiorentina players and slotted it in the bottom corner, we saw that potential there. And if you can get Leao's the type of player that you build a team around, not that you sell at 21 just because he's not doing good when he's played 4 different positions this season.
100%, for sure.
Yeah, and our problem, as you say, especially in social media, we compare Leao to those 10 talents that are playing right now at his age, which are Mbappe, Haaland, Phil Foden, Mason Mount. What else is in? But can we start to compare Sancho? Can we start to compare Leao with Pepe or with Dembele?
Mm-hmm.
Can we start to compare? Those are 70, 90 million, 120 million players. They are not performing. They are playing really bad. So start to compare with
Kulusevski.
Exactly.
That's of a similar age, similar league, similar position. I think Leao
struggling
over him because there's a lot more potential there. But you can't write a player off at 21. We've done it with Paqueta, and he's playing fantastic with Lyon now. And he'd moved to a new country. He didn't have any friends. In an opening interview, he said he was suffering from depression. He had no friends. The language was a struggle for him. Now he's found his feet in Lyon, and they could probably sell him for 50 million, whereas we only sold him for 25. With Leao, you've just got to have a little bit of patience before you write him off. You can't have a project that you can't say your project is going to be right. We'll buy these young players and we'll make them great, and then buy a young player and sell him in a year because he hasn't done well in his first season. It's all about development. And yeah, maybe AC Milan, we're not a club that's development, but that's a project that we're doing now. So you've just got to be patient. Or go watch Manchester City that's got 11 superstars and is going to win a trophy. But if you support Milan at the end of the day, and so get behind the project that they're doing.
And today, a lot of clubs, there were a lot of personalities from football and everywhere were saying that actually is enough. Enough is enough about people complaining about players on social media. You know, we think it's true. We think we write to Leao, oh, you lazy cunt, why you're not running? Why you're not playing? Why you're not? And the guy who's writing that is a loser on his room doing nothing with his life as well.
At the end of the day, they're all footballers are humans. And
he's a human.
They might be having struggles off the field that we don't know about. For all we know, he was playing brilliant until he released this album. Maybe it was a bit naive that he released the album, but maybe it's not done as well as he thought it would have, and that's affected him psychologically. Like, there's so many factors that we don't see. But obviously, you could ship Leao off to the Uber Eats League in France. He has one good season there. Someone in the Premier League will buy him 60 million in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
So you've just got to have a bit of focus. Leao will be lighting up Serie A in 2 years.
People need to be polite, man, and go easy with social media. I mean,
you were not polite to Romagnoli at all.
I didn't go on Romagnoli's Instagram and write him, oh, you bastard, why you're not running faster than Lukaku? Because I knew he's not faster than Lukaku. 20 years ago, I knew he's not faster than Lukaku. People think that he needs to run like Lukaku. In 2021, people realize, oh, why you're not faster like Lukaku? I mean, I'm not doing that. I would have loved to meet Theo Hernandez 6 days ago and tell him, you motherfucker, you lost us 2 points. But I'm not doing that because it doesn't make any sense to do that.
But again, with Theo, he's just broke up with his girlfriend, and we can sit there and be like, oh, focus on your football.
Oh, they broke up?
Oh, I didn't know that, see? I didn't know that.
He's broke up with his girlfriend. If I broke up with mine, I'd be a bit down for the next couple of weeks. At the end of the day, they are only humans. So you've just got to go a bit.
That explains it. That explains his dip in form.
There's been a lot of on and off with Zoe at the minute. So they're just humans. But players like Hakan is where someone on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was, someone on Twitter said, oh, maybe he's just had his baby. Maybe Hakan's been worried about his baby the last couple of months. I thought, okay, fair enough. But that doesn't mean that you can go to Turkey and play like Messi, Maradona, and then come to Milan and play like crap. That's not psychological. That's just laziness. Someone like Teo, who's been consistent since he's got here, but he's having a bit of personal problems, you've got to kind of have a bit of sorry for. But that's maybe where Pioli steps in and be like, look, I'm going to rest you for a couple of weeks, get your head straight. Let's play Dallo, you're in. It's like when Ilicic had to leave when his girlfriend cheated on him and he had to go back to wherever he's from. Slovakia or whatever. Slovenia. So there has got to be a bit of sympathy with it.
Yeah. I remember Hakan when he had his problems with his wife, that period there, he was performing also badly. So yeah, this shit definitely affects you. For sure. There's so many factors that affect the decision making of the players and the energy they bring.
Like, we're going through a pandemic, so a lot of young players, so say for example like Leao, he's Portuguese. He can't go over and see his family. There's a pandemic on. Tomori can't go see his family. Teo's just broke up with his girlfriend. He can't go see his family. All the Italians, they're fine. They can see the family. Players that have been here 4 or 5 years who've moved the family over here, they're all right. But the players that haven't, there's so much more going on in that's not just evolved around every day at Milanello. There's stuff at home life and things like that.
No, it's definitely like this. People, I understand you are with your mate and you are complaining how they are performing, but going on their social media and writing something is on the other side they have some blame because you performing badly. Don't go on social media. Just fucking go home and play with your PlayStation. Just switch off for a second.
This was
social media
with everything. With Hakan, when we lost 3-1 to Juve, he then put a picture on social media, smiling, holding the Juventus shirt that had Demiral on the back, and Demiral like, don't put that on social media 20 minutes after we've just lost to our rival. You just don't do it. Go home, look at the picture, do whatever you want to do with the picture. Just don't put it on social media. That's where they are a bit to blame. When I were a bit younger, I were a bit naive, and I used to give Montolivo a lot of hate because I thought the captain of Milan has to perform better than that. But I look back now and I think it was just stupid. He's not going to listen to me. Me calling him a bastard isn't going to change his performance. He's not going to think, oh, Jan from Huddersfield called me a bastard. I better start playing football now. It's just, it's just silly.
Yeah. So Saif Najjar says, my guy, I have no problem with Lau doing what he does in his personal life, but when he starts to affect your work rate with the biggest team in Italy, then I do not care how old you are. Which brings me to this comment right here from Necklord. They need the American win at all cost attitude. Win at all cost attitude. An American coach would laugh at Teo if that was the excuse. Well, I think Italian coaches are like that too, to be honest with you. Pioli is different. Pioli is a little bit softer.
I don't know. Somebody needs to explain this American attitude. Sorry.
Yeah, because
like Marcello Lippi, like Gattuso, like Capello. Capello is a perfect example. Capello is like, I don't care what's happening at your home. You come here, you have to act. You have to be a professional. There are coaches like that.
Well, but that was 10 years ago. No social media, no so exposure. Now there is a lot of exposure, so it's not the same.
Successful coaches now, Jurgen Klopp, very successful coach. He's got compassion with Alisson, who's just lost somebody. Gasperini, when Ilicic's wife cheated on him, he had compassion. Gasperini's a successful coach in terms of what he's done with Atalanta. So I think if anything, that type of attitude where you broke up with your girlfriend, go play football. That player ain't going to want to play football. That player's going to have more respect for the manager, his teammates that are like, do you know what? Go take 2-3 days, go clear your head, come back, then focus on Milan. If they say, go do 10 laps of the pitch, 25 press-ups, focus on Milan, not your girlfriend, they're not going to want to play for that coach, in my opinion. I wouldn't. If I was a footballer and something had happened to me in my personal life and my coach, who is kind of like your manager in the workplace, isn't there for you and doesn't have a slight bit of compassion, you won't want to work in that job anymore.
I mean, you can see it with Mourinho. Mourinho is saying to Dele Alli, I don't like the way you're training. I don't like you, and he's not winning anything, and he lost all the dressing room of Tottenham. It's like that way of coaching. It was good 15 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not good anymore.
I
Now
want
you
to say
need to
something.
understand the person.
I want to say something that you brought up, because I don't know if, like I told you, I work for the PSG, the academy here, and what was one of the things that in training the coaches that they do, and they literally tell you that there's a different approach on how to manage the players, and now you don't be so rough on them anymore. Don't treat them like they're soldiers. Treat them like they're human. You got to be more compassionate. You got to understand where they are. You got to talk to them with a certain tone, because the people are different now, and they react positively to a different kind of approach. So you're right. Klopp is like that. Ancelotti was like that. Piero, I guess, is probably like that. But is Conte like that? I don't know if Conte is like that.
But from the flip side of it, football, look, they get paid a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that they're not human. Me, as a chef, if everything that I did at work every day was on social media and I was being told to go kill myself, you're a piece of shit, that'd have an effect on my job. So it's only natural. 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't social media where players were getting told to go kill themselves over it. There were a couple of whistles in the stands, and that was it. Now there's so much hate online, racism, everything. That has an effect on your daily life, and and like I said, the humans before the footballers. Yes, they get paid all this money. That doesn't mean that they should be made of steel and should be able to put up being told to go kill themselves and stuff like that. It's just not right. And I saw a comment, I think it's that one there, about like Leao posting all these hundreds of Instagram stories up of him just dribbling once. He's probably in the contract somewhere with his sponsor that he has to do all this, and we don't know that. Obviously, it's frustrating. I get frustrated by it, but it's probably just in his contract that says you need to be this active on social media. I get annoyed when if they post a smile with a player that they've just lost to of the opposite team. But when it's just them showing a bit of skill that they've done, they've probably been told to do that by the sponsor. He's probably sponsored by a big company like Nike, who the fans of Nike will want to see players doing a bit of skill, and that's what gives him the money. It's just one of them things.
Yeah, for sure. Contractual marketing, contractual obligations, and those are definitely aspects. I do remember one thing I don't like, though, is when players. Now, this is a little bit different from what Saif is saying, actually. I actually don't like it when players lose and they don't post anything. I don't like that. I think that's kind of a cop-out. It's like, okay, you're posting only when you're happy. I mean, I respect what Theo did, actually, when he posted that Instagram story of him with his head down, saying that he made this mistake and he needs to, focus on those errors. I respect that.
I do.
No, man. For me, if I get my supercar, I drive to Milanello and I sleep to Milanello. I don't post that, and I wake up the next morning and I train myself with the passing. That's the way I do it. That's my personality. Of course, I'm not a 21 years old in the world of now. The 21 years old in the world of now thinks he's gonna post that. He's gonna say, "I'm gonna learn from my mistake, and I'm gonna be better." That's how it thinks.
In the modern era, like the way that football works now, fans want to see the players put something like that up to show that there's a bit of passion, because we can't all see what goes on at Milanello. For all we know, he could be driving in his sports car, going to McDonald's drive-through, picking up a cheeseburger and being happy. So it's just nice to see when they're a bit annoyed, like when Theo put the picture up of him being sick about the referee making the mistake in the Napoli game. That's the kind of stuff we want to see. The stuff that, like I said, I don't want to see is them posting with players smiling that they've just been spanked by, especially when it's a rival. That type of stuff, no. But when a comment that just says, "We're sorry about this, we go again," that's a bit nice to see, rather than them just going off and doing God knows what.
I remember Lukaku. Lukaku always posts. I do follow Lukaku's Instagram, by the way. So sorry.
Oh, can you just leave now, please?
So sorry for admitting that. But I do follow. Anyway, he posts a lot. But when he lost that game against Sevilla, he didn't post anything for 3 or 4 weeks. And
Because
that was
that's
like
the
a cup.
that's a real feelings, man. He doesn't want to be on public because he's so upset.
Yeah,
he's so upset with that.
But you're only posting when you're happy. It's like, come on, man, be a man. You post when you're upset too.
He was like I think in that moment he was like, I don't want to even go on holiday. I don't want to even be a millionaire in this moment because I lost my first chance to win a trophy. So I don't want to even open my Instagram.
No,
and I like that
agree.
reaction.
I agree, but then at the same time, fans don't see it that way, and fans see it like they're kind of hiding away from the mistakes that they've made. All it takes, you don't want to be reminded of it, but it takes 2 minutes just to quickly do it, and then go enjoy yourself. Instead of, say, for example, you leave it a week and then you're partying on a boat because you're enjoying your holiday or something like that, and that's the first thing that you post. I'm not saying do it immediately, no, but I think in this modern day, you've kind of got to do it a little bit. It's just part of the stuff now.
I think he didn't post anything, and he came the next season, 0 injury, a ton of goals, a ton of assists.
Hold on. But he didn't post anything for the 2 weeks that the soccer season was out. But then he didn't post anything for maybe another 3 weeks while the Serie A was going on. He was suffering. That game really suffered.
But then on the flip side, like I said, he probably didn't want the abuse from the Inter fans because we all know that they're a bunch of rats, snakes, pieces of crap.
Definitely.
He probably didn't want the abuse from the fans on that side. So again, I can probably see that bit of it, but a lot of fans will probably want a bit of passion where you say, "I'm sorry that's happened."
I'm going to.
Yeah, go.
I'm going to just okay because again, sorry people for saying this because I follow Lukaku's page and I see the comments.
You don't need to remind us.
The guy honestly could do anything, and those fans love him. Like they don't say, you will never see anything negative. Any fan say anything negative about Lukaku. Like no matter what he does, his fans are just they love him. I
think he was genuinely upset about that game. That's why I didn't post anything. He was like, anything I post doesn't make any sense. If you lose a final against Sevilla, not because it's Sevilla, if you lose a final, imagine if social media was there in 2005 after you lose
I was just
with
about
Liverpool.
to say that. Yeah.
Whatever Gattuso, Maldini post that day, it doesn't have any sense for me. Don't post anything. Just go on holiday. Just disappear. Just work hard and come back next season and try to do your best. That's the real reaction, the deal.
Oh, of course, but that's what I mean in the because everything's changed now and everything is so social media involved. It's just something that I suppose you kind of expect now. It's just something that it's there and it's part of the job as footballers now. I suppose to get trained in social media from a young age and how to cope with it and things like that. So I see both sides of it. I wouldn't say I'm for or against either, but I definitely get the point of apologising to the fans, especially when they can't be there, when it's in an empty stadium and stuff like that. I can get that flip side of it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You nailed it right there. Like you say, hey, you celebrate with the fans when you win, but when you lose, apologize. Like tell them something. I agree with that. And also another thing that you mentioned that makes sense is like Instagram for these players is a business. Like they make money off of Instagram.
Ronaldo makes $1 million every time he posts on Instagram. That's crazy.
Wow.
Like he could up in the morning, make himself a slice of toast, take a picture of it, and he's just got $1 million from it. It is become a business and part of the game now. That's for like the top end, obviously.
Exactly, and Donnarumma with 1 million followers on Instagram, he wants 11 million. What is the return of investment for AC Milan? You don't even have enough followers to put a decent sponsorship deal for AC Milan to say, you know what, I have this guy, he has 30 million followers. So if I put a sponsor on his Instagram, I can get 5 million. So I'll give it to Donnarumma. No, it doesn't even have that, and he wants 12 million from AC Milan.
The thing that I will say about Donnarumma is now, I'm genuinely not bothered if he signs or not. I've got to the point now where I really could not care. When you look at it in terms of, if we signed him on 12 million, that's probably about 18, 19 million in total over 5 years, plus Raiola's commission. That's about 120
That's a top
million.
player. That's a top player.
That's 120 million investment. For that 120 million investment, you could get Musa from Udinese, which he's not generational like Donnarumma, but he'll still do the job good enough. And you could invest more money in the 10 players in front, so Musa's job's easier. Donnarumma, if it's just time to say to him, look, sign this contract or piss off. And he says something, the fact that he's supposedly this top goalkeeper. Where are all these clubs lining up to take him? If he was that good, I'm not saying he isn't that good, but if he was as good as everyone makes out, one top club would have come in now with a 15, 16 million a year contract and signed him. But the point of the matter is, he can only do so much in net. Someone will pay that for Haaland because Haaland can change the game in the 90th minute with a goal. Donnarumma can only affect the game so much. So he's just not worth that amount of money.
No. People, you see, there is 20 top goalkeepers. You can choose one. The season is gonna end the same way. But if you change the striker from from Belotti to Haaland, you get 30 goals difference, which is a big change.
Totally.
But don't you guys consider that a goalkeeper can also not necessarily give you points? Well, yeah, they can give you points in a way, not the same way a striker does, but they can prevent you from losing points. That aspect.
Yeah. No, of course it can. But I'd say a goalkeeper is more like, over 90 minutes, he's more likely to lose your points than he's going to gain you, because all it takes is one shot that goes in the back of the net. That's it. A striker could have 3 or 4 chances to actually win you them points, whereas a goalkeeper only gets one opportunity at it. But as long as the 10 players in front of him are doing their job, that should be enough. And you don't need to look. Handanovic is a good goalkeeper, but he's not the best in the league, and he's going to win the league. Musa isn't as good as Donnarumma, but he's only conceded 3 goals more than him this year, and he's got the worst defence in front of him. So if you put Musa with a better defence, I think he concedes less.
It's simple as that, Roy. I'll make it simple to you. If you give Donnarumma to Manchester City and you get De Bruyne, who is gonna win?
Well, yes, De Bruyne.
That's it.
Yeah.
Manchester City gonna have a great keeper,
let me ask you
win
this.
the game.
Let me ask you this. Quick example. Would have Italy won the World Cup in 2006 if Buffon was not the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think so. The defender won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
The defence was good enough. Obviously, Buffon did some miracles in the 2006 World Cup, don't get me wrong. But
wait. But you have to
it's
change
not only
Buffon
just
with the... No, Roy, that's not fair. You take Buffon out, you put another player in. If you put Baggio in his prime, probably Italy wins that World Cup.
Okay, hold on. But Buffon is not. But Buffon, like a goalkeeper usually is not just the technical. And obviously, if this is just I'm just challenging ideas.
Yes,
but Buffon is not only technically proficient and can save you points, but it's his character and the energy, right? Like we were talking about Salamakers and Gattuso. Goalkeepers have that role also.
Of course. So I'll flip it round then. Buffon, leader, top player, leader. Juve get relegated to Serie B. Where does Buffon go?
He stayed.
Nowhere. Correct.
Yeah.
Donnarumma, if he's a leader, why isn't he signing a contract with a club that he loves and being that leader? That's what
So
you
it comes
get.
down-
If you're paying the top money for someone, you want leaders, you want game changers. If them players don't know whether to sign a contract and stay at your club, see ya, they can go for me.
And if
No,
you think
the
that
contract.
World
Sorry,
Cup, as we say, the Pirlo in the last minutes give the ball to Grosso, and he scores against Germany. Without Pirlo, you're not going anywhere. Without Cannavaro, it's a team game. Donnarumma is not essential. You can replace Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma for me is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. It's not even up for debate. He is one of the best, but I think a goalkeeper position is more of a luxury than a necessity, and people will laugh at that. Obviously, a goalkeeper is necessary to do well, but you look at when we last won the Scudetto and we conceded 24 goals with Abbiati in goal. It's because we had Thiago Silva and Nesta in front of him and the rest of the team doing their job, which allowed Abbiati only to concede 24 goals. So it's just, I don't, a top goalkeeper is more of a luxury. As long as you've got a goalkeeper that's capable of doing the job, which is to shot stop, then you should be fine. Sorry, guys, I didn't realise the time. I'm probably going to have to go and I really need the toilet. So
yeah, we're going as well. Don't worry.
I'll carry on watching, but I'm going to have to shoot.
All right,
worry,
Jan.
man. Thank you
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Thank you for sharing your opinions and all your insight. See you on the next one, my man.
See you, man.
Hey, Laird.
We close it with the last
I just
comment.
want to show you something. I just want to show you something before we go. And what we're looking at as far as Donnarumma goes. Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right. So Donnarumma right now, Chelsea is offering Donnarumma, according to the Express. He's been here. He was bought. Where is it? Milan. 10.2 yearly salary.
I cannot see the article. You're reading it, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just reading it.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah.
So Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea are both trying to go for Donnarumma.
Well, they can take it.
So these are big teams, and they're offering a lot of money. So, honestly, what would you do if you have a team like Chelsea or Paris Saint-Germain, and they come to you and they offer you all this huge amount of money, the opportunity to go right away and fight for the Champions League? Are you just going to say no to that?
Yeah, because AC Milan is offering me 8, not 1. They're offering 10. AC Milan is offering 8. It's not offering 2. So if you are an AC Milan supporter, you stay for AC Milan. You don't move for 2 million extra. You're not gonna buy an island if you have 2 million more, or you're not gonna buy a fucking, I don't know, whatever you're gonna buy. Still, your lifestyle is gonna be high lifestyle. So your life, it doesn't change. Do you want to play for AC Milan or for Chelsea? That's the more question. It's not offering the double of the money. And Chelsea still doesn't know if he's going in Champions League. You want to play for Paris Saint-Germain? Yeah. Go for it.
Right. Man, I want to keep Donnarumma. I really like him. I think he's perfect for Milan. I want him to stay. But here, actually, Necklor says something that is very true. There are certain shots no goalkeeper can save. That is true. That doesn't matter who you are. But if you put it in the corner, if you put it next to the post, the goalkeeper is not going to get it. So, yes. Anyway, hey, Lart, we've gone over 2 hours now. This was an excellent, fun podcast with all our friends, our AC Milan friends. So let's talk about our predictions for tomorrow, and then let's close the show.
my prediction tomorrow is I don't have any prediction because every time I do a prediction, we lose. So I'm not gonna give any prediction. Sorry, I'm not.
Check
I
it
don't
out.
want to jinx it this time.
Your last prediction for AC Milan Sampdoria was 3-0.
Yes.
You were quite off.
So I recognize my limits. I don't want to jinx it anymore. So from now until the end of the season, I'm not giving any prediction.
My prediction was 4-1.
Well, you should stop as well, man. We should stop it here, man. Well, I understand if anyone wants to get their prediction, I'm happy. I'm not giving any prediction. I'm saying like that's it.
All right,
if you want to give your prediction, go for it.
Let's hear what the chat says. Chat. If you have predictions, give me some predictions. Let's see. 2-0 for Necklord. Wow. Okay, 2-0. Is what's his name? Gervinho? Is he playing?
I don't know.
Jamario, no problem, my brother. My prediction is 3-0, guys. Sorry I had to jump off. 3-0. Wow.
Hopefully we win. That's my prediction. That's how I feel.
I like this one. This is my favorite. This is what I'm going to go for. LOL Paulo says 6-0. Isborn says if someone plays, then a draw or lose. Wow. No confidence in Samu.
I thought he had a problem with Pioli, but I think he had a problem with Samu.
Right. Yeah, Isborn is not happy with the current Milan team right now. At least some elements. Saif says 0.02 for Milan. Ibra Çalhanoğlu. DOA says 3-0. Well, everybody's very positive. Honestly, you just can't tell with this team anymore. That is true. You really can't. I'm going to say 5-1.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm done with this. I know Ari is gonna be like, guys, I need your prediction to put it somewhere. I don't know where he's going to put it. Just put this. I'm not giving any prediction. This team, honestly, you cannot tell. Necklord88 is the perfect comment. We can put that on Twitter. It's just not anymore. I can trust Zlatan. I trust KC, Benacer. I trust the two center back, Kier and Tomori. Anyone else? I don't trust anyone else. I feel like even Pioli can make wrong decisions, tactical.
Gian Mario earlier said that Parma is missing about 10 players. So they're going through this kind of spell that we were in like maybe a month ago as far as players go. Okay, this is my prediction. I think tomorrow is going to be, knock on wood, a fairly easy win because our team is packed. We are motivated. We learned from the previous game what we got to do, but Pioli has a lot of options as far as what he can do in the game with his substitutions, and he has pretty much his best starting 11 minus Calabria. So I say easy win, 5-1. Kessi, Ibra, Çalhanoğlu, Dalot. Ibra scoring 2 goals.
Well, I'll come in LA and I'll kiss you if that happens.
Okay.
I'll give you a massive ass if that happens.
All right. Good.
Well,
all right. So, anything else you want to add, Laird?
Yeah. Just follow the channel, subscribe, and
Laird,
like the video.
Actually, Laird, just a real quick thing, maybe just a few more minutes. I wanted to ask you, what were your opinions on the Champions League?
Quite Really, really surprised by Paris Saint-Germain. I thought Bayern at least going to draw or not being so unprepared. They were really unprepared in a defensive way. You know what I mean? Paris Saint-Germain is a great team, and but Bayern Munich was really unprepared. So I was really surprised about that. Not surprised about City. Nothing surprising from Real Madrid, Liverpool, and I know Chelsea is going to. I feel Chelsea is going to the final. That's my opinion, and probably is going to win
Did you
it. So
did you see Chelsea's game?
I saw the highlights, and not a great game, but quite solid. Quite solid as a team. They had few chances. They scored. Still, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz are really bad. Bad signing. They are not performing. And I don't know. It's a lot of teams. They spend a lot of money with no reason, and they're not getting back the results they're having. So,
Any opinions on Real Madrid? They looked good against Liverpool. 3-1 against Liverpool is not easy.
the thing I want to say about Real Madrid, all the work is done by Zidane. I think Zidane is the best manager at the moment
Wow.
because he doesn't have a great team. He has a good team, but he's understanding that and he's being clever, playing pragmatic football, understanding the way to win with that Real Madrid at the moment is to play solid. He didn't have the two center backs, and he had a great midfielder, but Zidane is doing a great job. Is the league La Liga is open. Champions League, you can always win the Champions League because Real Madrid is a big name and they are quite solid. So he's a great manager. I'm gonna be really like the next team is going to get Zidane is gonna be a lucky team. Hopefully, it's not Juventus.
Oh. What about Manchester City, Dortmund?
City played well, but they're not in Champions League. They struggle a lot. They're not the same team like they are in Premier League. They are scared. They feel the pressure. I feel like Guardiola feels the pressure of they have to win it. You know what I mean? Because they spend a lot of money. So they go to the pitch and they're like, "Oh no, we have to win this." I don't feel like, PSG can win it, man. PSG. Can go crazy.
I am rooting for PSG to win the Champions League.
Yeah, Pochettino is being clever. He's understanding limits and potential of his team, and he's playing clever. And Mbappe, man.
Yeah, Mbappe.
I will give 20 million to Mbappe as a salary. I don't give 11 to Donnarumma.
Yeah. Yes, Mbappe is he's the next guy. He's the next one. Tomorrow, El Clásico. Real Barca.
What time is that? You know?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would rather watch Milan Parma any day of the week rather than Real Barca.
I mean, I'm gonna watch AC Milan. I'm gonna watch Parma Milan or whatever it is. But because I'm an AC Milan fan, but if I wasn't a neutral, especially with this AC Milan, I would go for the Classico.
It's actually right after the game. After the game.
So we're not gonna do the post game. That we're gonna let our fan to watch the game.
Necklord was asking if we were doing a watch along tomorrow. I'm not sure yet if we're doing a watch along. Are we doing a watch along, Lart? Do you know what the schedule is?
No, we cannot do that because Harry is busy. I'm busy with some work as well, and unfortunately, this is just an hobby at the moment. It's a passion, so we cannot say. I cannot say to my boss or to people like, you know what, fuck off. I have to do this, so I have stuff to do.
Unfortunately, guys, we do not have a watch along for tomorrow's game, but we are going to do a podcast on Sunday where we are going to do a post game and then we have a podcast on Monday where we're going to be talking about football in general and anything that you guys want to bring up, and we'll have some nice things prepared. Wednesday, we're going to have another podcast about Milan, and the next the next phases of whatever Milan has to do. We're going to have Ari's review of the game tomorrow, though. Ari is going to review the game tomorrow, so that's coming up. So yes, this following week is going to be pretty busy for us, and we're going to have more time, and we're going to try and give you as much content as we can. All right, Lars, final words.
Forza Milan, and thank you for the people following us. And I see a lot of new names, so I like that. Thank you guys for new people coming and old ones. Yeah, let's win. We're not gonna win the Serie A. Let's go top 4, and so we can enjoy next season the proper Champions League. You know, we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be different. We're gonna be more pissed off next season if we lose and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Yes. All right, guys. Yes, just like Larry says, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for being here with us, and be in tune. And also, guys, for anybody that is listening now, we have some polls in our community feed. So go there and let's see what you vote for. We have Bernardeschi Romagnoli. We have which striker would you bring back from the past? Van Basten is winning that poll. And then we have, we'll have more stuff for you. So thank you, everybody, for chilling out with us. Forza Milan, per sempre Milan, Forza Milan tomorrow. Let's hope we get this one and we win. And we will finish with these 2 last comments. My favorite channel for the last 3 months, and it's only the start. Thank you, Saif. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then here we have next podcast. My first message is Pioli out if Milan loses tomorrow. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Arrivederci. Ciao.
Forza Milan.